If you think your problem is complicated, the answer might even be more so. Hi, this is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day 4 of Shemot, which means names. We are today in Shemot, Exodus chapter 2. At the end of the chapter, beginning with verse number 23 to the end, the word says, "And it came to be after these many days that the sovereign of Mitzrayim died, and the children of Israel groaned because of the slavery, and they cried out. And their cry came up to Elohim because of the slavery. And Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Yitzhak, and with Yaakov. And Elohim looked on the children of Israel, and Elohim knew." We'll pause there just for a few moments, and we'll read a verse or so from chapter 3. When we have issues of life that arise, circumstances, they oftentimes can be a bit overwhelming, bewildering, if I can even say that, overwhelming, perhaps, to the place where there is no reasonable, plausible, seeable answer. And we're left in a state of perplexity and wondering, what do? I just don't know what to do. How many times have you ever been in that situation where it's like, I don't know what the answer is? You ask friends, family, loved ones, and they try to help, but ultimately, you're the one's got to decide. Even if you take someone else's answer, you decided that's the answer you chosen. We are responsible then for our own life choices. Sometimes they seem to be made for us, but nonetheless, they're ours. We own them. And life, as has been said many times, our situation, our current state, is the culmination and the sum total of all life decisions that we made up to this point. As we talked about earlier this way, one thing is for certain, there's going to be change. Why? Well, we're going to learn to make different and hopefully better choices for a better end result. Israel, it seems to be in a situation at the time of our reading, it's in a situation beyond their own making. Yet, while it was prophesied that this would happen, it's not happening because it was necessarily prophesied. And that may sound confusing. Hold with me for a moment. Yah told Abraham that his descendants would go down to Mitzrayim, and there they would be in servitude, and the time lapse would be 400 years before they would come back to the land in which he had just promised to give him. So once he declared that was what was going to happen, the people really had no choice, right? Actually, what Yah was doing was declaring what he knew the life choices of the people would be and their end result would become. That is, that for whatever reasons that they chose, they decided to stay in Mitzrayim beyond the time of the famine and the time where Joseph would take care of them. Life was good. There was really no perceived need to leave. Why go back to the land that we came from? We'll have to start all over again there. What's already established here, we got cities to live in, food to eat, families close by, Joseph's in charge, so why go home? It's the same state of mind that we find in the exile currently. Why do we want to go and live in the land of Israel? Why do we need the kingdom to come and to put us in a completely different environment and life situation when actually, for the most part, life is pretty good right where we're at? But we all should understand from the hurricane path of Helene and at the time of the recording, the infernos, wind-driven infernos that are consuming parts of Los Angeles. Life can move and shake and leave us in disrepair in a moment's time. We talk about the hurricane victims, and we talk about those ravaged by fire. What we're not thinking about is all of the tornado storms that went through the United States this past year, and those who lost their homes due to those kinds of issues. So we've had wind and fire and water, and the earth has shook, and will shake. Yah is allowing us to know that everything that we have, everything that we are, can be possibly temporary. And when life circumstances are overwhelming and beyond our own ability to answer, there's only one recourse, and that's to cry out to the Creator. I heard a prophet recently say that the fires that are devastating Los Angeles and parts of California, the desire is that they become fires of revival, and that Yah has the ability to do so. So back to our earlier point, Yah told Abraham what would happen with his descendants, knowing the choices that they would make. He prophesied this will happen, but he prophesied what he knew men would choose to do. And so it is that when they find themselves in servitude and in bondage, it's not as if they had prophetically no choice. No, it is the end result of the choices that they made. Now that they're in this situation and they realize we need help, it says that they cried out. This word crying out in Hebrew is vayisakah, V-A apostrophe Y-I-Z apostrophe A-K-A, vayisakah to Yahweh. Their cry, again, another phrase here is shava'atam. It comes up before Elohim. Now, there's an interesting thing about this word shavah, S-H-A-V-A. In Hebrew, it is shin, vav, ein. You add a yod to the front of that, and you have Yeshua. In other words, their cry for deliverance was for a deliverer. And in their cry for deliverance, they were calling on closely to the name of their ultimate deliverer. They were crying out for Yeshua, the Messiah, to deliver them from their exile and bondage. How did Yah answer that prayer? Maybe we would ask, first of all, why did he answer the prayer? Excuse me, because he remembered the covenant. Yah acts according to covenant. He's not acting according to whims or trends or fads or pleas. He acts according to the tenets of his covenant. He prophesied to Avram, again, though they are going to be away for 400 years, I will bring them back. I will raise them up and bring them back here. So when they cry out for deliverance, they have opened the door for return. How long will our current exile last? Until we cry out for deliverance. But Mary, life is too comfortable and convenient for us to actually think we need deliverance. We need deliverance. We must become so yearned and hungry for the coming of the kingdom of the Most High, the kingdom of heaven upon the earth, that we are willing to let go even of what is perceived as the good life, because it can turn in a moment. There can be a Pharaoh that will arise who does not know what we know and what we have known and who we know. And it can turn in a moment. So there is no security in exile. May Yah bring us into his kingdom, the kingdom of Yeshua. Now here's the interesting part. Yah acted according to the covenant. He remembered Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. But he called on one in chapter 3 that Moshe was shepherding the flock of Yitro, his father-in-law, and the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the back of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of Elohim, where Yah spoke to him. Moshe wasn't looking to be a deliverer. He was minding his own business. It wasn't a good business, but it was his and he was minding it. How long does it take for deliverance? It takes at least as long for the deliverer to be awakened to the need and be willing to do something about it. What are you willing to do? More on this tomorrow. Till then, shalom.